Good morning students. So let's start with requirement engineering process, which is also known as RE process. So in the last lecture we have just done the basics of the requirement phase, that it is carried out after the feasibility study. Now feasibility is a part of requirement itself, right? We have seen what are the types of requirement, that is broadly classified into two: user requirement and system requirements, which are further categorized into functional and non-functional requirement. Along with that, constraints are applicable on these requirements. Now further continuing with the process, requirement engineering process, as the name suggests, it is a process. The entire activity is iterative in itself, and we have step-by-step activities to carry out this task. So requirement engineering refers to the process of defining, documenting and maintaining requirements in the engineering design process. So when we say in SDLC, we have one phase as requirement analysis and specification. That means it's itself a process. Requirement phase is a process where a number of activities are being carried out for that, and that process is known as requirement engineering. The requirement engineering provides the appropriate mechanism to understand the customer's desires, analyzing their needs and assessing feasibility, negotiating a reasonable solution, specify the solution clearly, validating the specifications and managing the requirements as they are transformed into a working system. So if I summarize that, simply requirement engineering is a process where we try to understand the customer's need, what exactly he expects from the system. Based on that, we go on collecting the requirement, analyze all those collected requirements, we check whether they are feasible or not. If not, we negotiate with the customer and come up with a conclusion which is feasible, right? Along with that, whatever requirements we gather, we get it validated by the customer whether he is satisfied with whatever we have identified based on the understanding of the system, and further we keep on managing the requirements since requirements keeps on changing. So this entire process of identifying the requirement, then analyzing it, validating it, specifying it and managing it is known as requirement engineering process. Thus requirement engineering is a disciplined application of proven principles, methods, tools and notations to describe a proposed system's intended behavior and its associated constraints. So what for we are making this SRS document, right? That means we are going to tell what our proposed system is going to do, to have an understanding between the customer and the development team members, and we can present our system in a better way. So let's talk about the process on the stages. The requirement engineering process, I have told you, is an iterative process where we keep on repeating these phases until stages until unless we get all the requirements and they are being properly specified and validated. So the 4 steps are, I have written feasibility study as one of the step being a part of requirements now. Else it is a 4-step process which consists of requirement elicitation and analysis. Elicitation means gathering the requirement. Okay, so first step is we need to gather the requirement and then analyze it. Second step is specification, where we have to prepare the SRS document. Validation is whatever document you have to prepare, we need to validate whether all the requirements whichever is written there is correct. And the last one is requirement management. So once SRS got validated and you start with the development, now in case any change is required in the requirements, then this management process comes into place. So RE process just measure 4 steps. If we represent this graphically, you can see that initially we carry out feasibility study, and the output that is released after feasibility study is known as feasibility report. Once this is done, then we start with the RE process. RE process, the first one, elicitation and analysis. So the outcome that is released after this elicitation and analysis is system models, right? So here we are telling what will be the deliverable of each and every step in RE process. So after elicitation analysis, we get models. After specification, we get user and system requirements, right? After validation, we get the requirement document, that is SRS. So what does this SRS consist of? You can see the flow of these arrows. This SRS consists of user and system requirements along with the models. So SRS document, you can say it consists of the requirements as well as it also takes helps of certain models to I understand your system in a better way. We'll see what all models we prepare will be doing in the analysis part, right? So as of now, just understand SRS document consists of two major things. One is your requirements, both the categories, which are further divided into functional and non-functional requirements, which has certain constraints also. Along with this, we have few models also which are present in the SRS document, right? Starting with the feasibility, though we have done earlier, just quickly summarizing it. Feasibility study is to check whether the problem is feasible, that is implementable or not with respect to certain constraints or the standards. Based on that, we have different types of feasibility. Technical feasibility, whether the technology that we are going to use, the hardware and the software configuration that we are going to use, is it feasible in that? Operational feasibility is whatever you are going to develop is going to operate in the business environment or not, operational. We have economic feasibility or financial feasibility, are we able to develop in the given constraint. We do have time feasibility also, whether are we able to develop it in the given time constraint or not, right? So this is quickly just a feasibility study, not going into much detail. Coming up to the first step, that is elicitation and analysis. So after initial feasibility, the next step is requirement elicitation and analysis. So what does elicitation means is gathering of requirements. We need to collect the requirements from the stakeholders. Stakeholders we mean is, say you want to develop a software for library automation system, right? So who all will be the stakeholder of the system? So stakeholders are the people who are directly or indirectly involved in that project or the software which you are developing, directly and indirectly. So who is directly involved? The customer and the development team members. Who are indirectly involved? The people who are going to use this software in future. Let's say end users. So for library automation system, so who will be your stakeholders? Stakeholders will be your management, the administration, right, who has asked to develop it, they will be acting as a customer, right? Development team members, right, who will be using it? Employees, staff, librarians, students, right? So during the development, the parties involved was management and development team members. While in the operational phase, who all will be using it? We all will be using it, at the student, employee, staff, librarian and everyone, right? So we need to identify the requirement from all these stakeholders, because normally if I say you are supposed to prepare a library automation system, we'll simply make a library system which will have create, delete, search, issue, return, reissue, that's it. We'll think of this and we'll make the software. But why I'm saying stakeholders is because, okay fine, you have taken create and delete, so that is a functionality that is required by the admin, right? Then search, issue, return, reissue, that is required by employees also, staff also and admin also. But what about the requirement of the librarians? They have to maintain the database, right? They have to get it issued. Finally, they are the working who are operating the system, right? They have to maintain the entire, like, students record also, books record also. Maintenance is one of the module that is required, right? Database generation and modification, that is also required. Apart from that, who all will be using it? I said employees and staff will be. So I want to generate the report also from the library, how many books are there, how many, like, we need to purchase more, that entire management reporting needs to be prepared. So if we don't know who all will be the stakeholders, we cannot identify their specific requirements. So the basic important thing which is required in elicitation is, first of all, identify all the stakeholders and then try to fetch the respective requirement from them, right? Say what are the requirements for the admin, what are the requirements of students, what are the requirements of employees, what are the requirements of you can say librarians, right? So ultimately get their requirements individually from all those categories of different users, right? So that is elicitation process. So I've told you in the elicitation what we did is, first of all, identify all the stakeholders, and from those stakeholders get their specific requirements of both the types, that is functional and non-functional. Apart from this, now how to get the requirement, the question arises, right? So we have several elicitation techniques that are being adopted to fetch the requirement from these set of users, right? So how you can fetch these requirements, think of it, we'll be doing it in the next class, the elicitation techniques, how you can get the requirement of a particular software from its stakeholders, right? This is an assignment for you, identify. So once you identify all the requirements, what we do is, in this activity software engineers works with the customer and the system end users to find out the application domain, what services the system should provide, the required performance of the system, and hardware constraints, and so on. So we identify all sort of requirements from different users. Once you get all these requirements, we analyze the gathered requirements. So we go for analysis. Now what for analysis is done? So analysis is done whether the requirements that you have gathered are consistent. Is there any inconsistency or the contradictions present in that? So try to avoid it or remove it if it is present. Then, are the requirements ambiguous? Ambiguous means the terms which have multiple meanings or interpretations. For example, if I say I use the term search. So what will search mean? One person can assume search means searching a book, but another person can assume searching a library member also, searching a student also, right? So this search term has multiple interpretations, right? So this is known as ambiguity. Let's assume some more examples. Windows. If I write Windows, Windows could mean a window in a room. Window could also mean operating system, right? So this is an ambiguous term. So we always have to work on or prepare the document in such a way that these ambiguities are not present. If you are using such term like search, specify it clearly. Searching what, right? You have to specify, we searching a member, searching a book, right? So that has to be clearly specified. So requirements must not be ambiguous. Then we need to check for redundancies. Redundancy means duplicacy. Whether we have requirements, say we have identified 6 requirements or modules that needs to be implemented in your system, and first and the fifth requirement means the same thing. Just I have written the synonym, right? So I feel like these are different requirements, but actually they mean the same thing. So unnecessary, we will be developing the same requirement twice. So wastage of time, resources and cost. So we have to avoid such type of duplicacies or redundancies in the SRS document. Then any sort of error or defect has to be eliminated. That is true. Omissions means incompleteness. If maybe we have tried to identify all possible requirements, but it might happen one or two is left out, maybe due to lack of domain knowledge or the stakeholders haven't specified that requirement. It might happen, right? So we have to check for those incompleteness also, right? So these are the few things for which we analyze the collected requirements. So simply summarizing, we check for consistencies, ambiguities, redundancies, errors or defects and incompleteness. So once you identify and eliminate this, then we say okay, our requirements as far as possible we have collected and identified the correct requirements. Then the second step is specification. So specification is a process of writing the SRS document, right, which includes your requirements, user and system requirement, functional and non-functional requirement, as well as the constraint. So we have already discussed that we have a template for preparing this SRS document. We will be preparing this SRS document during the semester also, right? Now this activity is used to produce formal software requirement models also. So we have seen in the figure that in the SRS document, along with the requirements, we do have certain requirement models also. Few of them are ER diagrams, that is entity relationship diagram, right? This is a part that you people are doing in your DBMS. Data flow diagram. So we have seen in the evolutionary step of software engineering, where we have one of the evolutionary step as data oriented diagrams, where we prepare data flow diagrams. Functional decomposition diagram, simply a functional breakdown of a structure like tree like diagram. Data dictionaries, which are part of data flow diagram, right? A sort of metadata for data flow diagrams. Along with this, we prepare decision tree, decision table. So these are few of the diagrams or the models that needs to be prepared during the requirement phase, and these are present in SRS document. Not all, whichever is relevant, as which helps in understanding the system properly or to present your system properly, we include those diagrams. All the requirements, including the functional as well as non-functional requirements and the constraints, are specified by these models. During specification, more knowledge about the problem may be required, which can again trigger the elicitation process. So as you keep on writing the document, you feel like more requirements are there, so it is triggering the elicitation process. It is an iterative process, we say, right? As soon as you write, you feel more requirements are there, again you go for elicitation, right? Back to elicitation, again you gather the requirement, then again you specify it, you feel no, something is missing, again go back to elicitation, right? Collect those requirements, analyze it, again specify it. You keep on repeating this step until unless all the requirements are being gathered. Then once you have prepared the SRS document, now the next step is to validate these requirements or the SRS document. So it refers to the different set of tasks that ensures that the software that has been built is traceable to the customer requirement, right? Whatever we have identified and written in our document is in sync with the requirement that is being, or the problem which is stated by the customer. If requirements are not validated, errors in the requirement definition would propagate to the successive stages, resulting in lot of modifications and rework, right? So what happens basically is, if you're not trying to validate it here, right? So if in case there is certain error, it might propagate to the later phases like designing and coding, and then you identify, okay, this was wrong. You have to go back and go for major modifications and rework is required. So again, time will be wasted in that case. Effort, time, cost, everything will be a waste, right? So we try to validate in the same step, that is requirements, right? So there is a least possibility that modifications is required in the later phases. Now the main steps for this process includes, the requirement should be consistent with all the other requirements, that is no two requirements should conflict with each other, right? No conflictions must be there. The requirement should be complete. The requirement should be practically achievable. Review buddies like reviews, buddy checks, making test cases, etc. are some of the methods used for this. So simply what we are validating, what we were trying to identify in the analysis phase, right? We were working on inconsistencies, ambiguities, defects, omissions, redundancy. वही हमें यहाँ पे validate करने हैं. That needs to be validated here, whether these are present or not. So this is what's in, you're checking the consistency, you're checking the incompleteness, they're practical or not, and few of the methodologies that are being used for validation is like test cases. We will be doing this. A brief you're aware of is like in a V model we have seen, we are validating at each and every step, right? So we need to prepare the test cases to validate them, right? Reviews is one of the method which is carried out after each phase in the form of, you can say, audits, right? A verification. Buddy check is also one of the method, right? So once the validation is over, then is the requirement management. So it's not necessary management is required currently while you are preparing the SRS document. Maybe in future when the designing starts, then any changes comes, then you have to go back and manage the change requirement. Maybe in the later phases also, may it be designing, coding, testing, even during the maintenance when the system is deployed, even then you need requirements gets changed. So you have to change the requirement, that is SRS. You have to modify the SRS document. So we should have a proper management process. right? So requirement management is a process of analyzing, documenting, tracking, prioritizing and agreeing on the requirements and controlling the communication to relevant stakeholders. This stage takes care of the changing nature of the requirements. It should be ensured that the SRS is as modifiable as possible so as to incorporate changes in requirements specified by the end users at the later stages too. Right? There must be scope of change. It's not that once you have prepared the SRS and it's too rigid that you cannot make changes in future. No, you must leave a scope for change, right? It must be modifiable in nature. Being able to modify the software as per requirements in a systematic and controlled manner is an extremely important part of the requirements engineering process. So it's not like any person comes and change your SRS document. No, we have a change management process. Like management, we have to make the changes. So if any person comes with a change, first of all we need to check, right, what exactly is the change he wants to make. Analyze that change, that how much effective that change will be, whether it is going to give you a positive impact, or it might happen you make that change and it gives rise to more errors also. That degrades your system, you get into loss. So you have to analyze whether it is a profitable change, it has an impact which is going to give more business to your software. You are making a software for making money, exactly. Business I mean is money. But if you are into loss, why to make that change? Right? So there is a systematic process of making changes in the requirement. So we'll study that change management process also in detail in the later steps. So we have seen that. Simply quickly revising it. Requirement engineering process consists of 4 steps. The first one is requirement elicitation analysis, from where we get the system models and which act as an input to the specification phase. In this specification, you identify the requirements, user and system requirements, right, along with functional and non-functional requirements and the constraints that act as an input to the validation phase, right, and these are iterative in nature. You need to go back again and again to make the relevant changes. Once you validate it, finally the SRS document is prepared here, and the output which is coming from the intermediary steps are a part of this SRS document. So this is what your requirement engineering process is. Go through it once. If you have any doubt, we can discuss the same in the class. Thank you all.